everyone, Elliot Jacobson here for Disaster Diaries on this day, Sunday, August 8th, 2021. And the big news of the day is that tomorrow we will get to see the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, their assessment report number 6. And just to sort of set the stage for what we're talking about right here, you can actually go to their website, ipcc.ch. I will put a link down in the description for you so you can go to this first thing tomorrow when you wake up, or later today if you happen to be in Asia, where there is on the other side of the international date line. So I want to take you to one thing in particular in this. If you sort of tool around, you can find this fact sheet for the 6th assessment report. The 6th assessment report comprises 3 working groups. Working group 1 is the one that's going to report tomorrow. So let me just see, you can see the schedule. So working group 1, they finished the work on Friday. There was a famous picture where they were all sort of clapping their hands and congratulating each other. So what is the 6th assessment report? Well, I'll tell you what it is. It's going to be, they better be honest. They better tell us what's going on. Nobody thinks that we're going to hit the 1.5 C. We'll be able to stay below that anymore. That is just not possible. We're going to blow by 1.5 C easily with the next El Nino year. Whenever we get that, we will have a year that's above 1.5 C. Until we are persistently above that, well, maybe within 5 years, 10 years, at the outside, it's coming quick, and we're just going to blow right through that. So working group 1. So what are they going to talk to about? It's going to be more integrated knowledge and understanding compared to the previous report. Yeah, all right, thanks a lot. There's going to be a greater focus on how the Earth responds to climate change in the working group. In other words, fires and floods, right? And smoke covering huge areas and changes in the sea currents, right? The AMOC. And we're going to have a lot of things going on that people have said, hey, that never was modeled before, or your models didn't predict that, right? So here we go. We're going to actually hopefully have models or have some statement that these sorts of things are going to be included. Now, this time, rather than these sort of 4 models they gave us last time, there's going to be this whole complicated range of models that have to do not only with sort of the CO2, the greenhouse gas emission timeline, but also sort of the socioeconomic conditions that are taking place at the same time, because depending on how governments and societies are either growing or shrinking, that will portend sort of the future from that moment. So if we could imagine that we have our current concentration today, but we have a shrinking use of industrial activity, of fossil fuels, of everything that creates greenhouse gases as societies around the world, well, that would be one model, right? Whereas if we have this sort of explosive growth where we're gaining 6 million jobs a year, and China is reopening coal plants to help sustain its energy needs for its growing economy, and we have sort of the dream of growing, thriving economies worldwide, well, that'll be a different path, right? So the sort of socioeconomic element makes it more, it's not just a one-dimensional, now it'll be a 2-dimensional set of models. And so we'll have to sort of pick and choose, well, which models are actually going on. I just think that maybe it makes it a little bit more complicated to digest this information, because you'll always be able to dodge into some adjacent model to say, well, we're not here, but look, that was predicted. Well, the truth is that every model that has ever come out, we seem to be exceeding the worst case scenarios for that model. And that's what we have to really see, just how bad are the worst case scenarios in these models that are going to be coming out tomorrow. Yeah, any rate, it is something to look forward to. And hopefully I will be able to make it through some of that. But the big thing of the day is I want to talk about are these fires that are going on. And there are fires everywhere. There are fires in South Africa. There are fires just all over the world. Thank you to The Guardian. There's fires. Second town in Canada was destroyed by fire. We had Lytton destroyed in June. We had Greenville in California destroyed just a few days ago. And now we have this town of Montelake destroyed in Canada by their wildfires. We have this Dixie Fire in California that's continuing to burn. It is well over 440,000 acres, the largest fire in the history of California. That thing continues to burn. We have fires in Turkey burning like crazy, fires in Greece. You may have seen some of these horrific pictures of fires burning all the way down to the coast off some of the islands and the frantic escapes that were being made. But probably the fire that concerns me the most out of all of these is this fire that is ongoing in Siberia. And nobody has been covering that better than the Siberian Times. So I hope that you will find your way to SiberianTimes.com. I'll put a link down in the description and you'll have a look at some of this. Now, the Siberian Times, if you actually start looking around their website, what you notice is that most of their articles are fairly out of date. And, at first when I found this website, I thought, wow, this is great. I'll be able to get daily news from Siberia. Not really through this website. So the place you really want to go to sort of follow the Siberian Times is online on their Twitter account. So their Twitter account is actually fairly active and will bring you right up to date with what's going on there. So just to sort of share with you what they're saying, here we have a Twitter post, smog from the wildfires in Yakutia, covering 438 living settlements in Irkutsk region and much of Lake Baikal, right? Or flights from Moscow in the south of Russia couldn't land in Surgut, western Siberia, because of smoke from wildfires. Well, where is all of this taking place? Let me just show you. The fires themselves are right here in this region. So we're getting wildfires sort of in the northern Sakha Republic. But the smoke is drifting both to the south and to the north up over the Arctic. So when they talk about Yakutsk, that's right down here. This is the city of Yakutsk. So this is smoke drifting south. And so if I actually showed you on cams, you would see the what's going on here. So these are the fires burning up here in Siberia, and the actual fires themselves are burning up towards the Laptev Sea in northeastern Siberia. But the smoke from those fires is drifting south, and here we see it drifting over Yakutsk, and they're also drifting to the west and even covering Moscow and parts of western Asia and even encroaching on Europe. But these fires, the smoke from them is also making its way over the North Pole. So I showed this a little bit to you yesterday. Let me just sort of refresh that for today so that you can see what I'm talking about. I am on the Copernicus site using cams, and we can see this is a view straight down onto the North Pole. So if we see, here is Greenland right here. Here are the fires that are taking place in Canada and the United States, and we can see all the smoke from those. So if you are sort of in the United States and you have a sense for how large those fires are and our smoke plume from those, then you can see just by the sheer magnitude how much larger what's going on in Siberia is. In fact, this smoke easily covers an area the size of India or more in thick, dense smoke. So the fires themselves, mainly in this region, the smoke sort of drifting around. And when we have smoke going up into the Arctic, again, it does two things that help destroy the Arctic ice even faster, as if we needed that. One is that the ash that falls on the ice darkens the ice, allowing it to have decreased albedo, in other words, absorb more solar radiation, reflect less, and that warms the ice faster. It warms the Arctic faster, raising the temperature of the whole region in a feedback loop that, and by feedback, I mean the hotter things get, the more fires are likely to burn, creating more ash, creating more fires that are going to land on this ice. The other is that, of course, ash is famous for its ability to melt ice. If you ever lived in the Midwest and threw salt under your tires to help get out of a jam, well, in an icy situation, well, you know that ash from your fireplace works just about as well. So we are getting lots of ash falling. In fact, this is unprecedented. I read earlier today that we have never in the history of recorded information about the Arctic, have had ash falling from fires onto the Arctic like this. I'm sure some experts have a good idea of what's going on there, but it is not good news for Arctic ice. And here is just a map of the sea ice extent. This is a couple days old, but again, the fires are burning in this region of Russia right here. And here's the Laptev Sea. And we see the ice melt. Now this blue line, this orange line right here, that's the median ice edge from 1981 to 2010. So we see how much more ice has already melted. This is a vast area of open ocean above Siberia here. And this just means that water is going to warm. It's going to superheat because there's no ice to absorb the latent heat. And so we're going to have less ice formation over this coming winter there, which means we're going to have even more melt next year. So this is just part of the downfall of the Arctic being accelerated by these fires. So yeah, my suggestion, visit the IPCC and also visit the Siberian Times so that you can get a sense of the magnitude of these fires. I wish that these would be covered more on mainstream media. I don't think there's anything going on right now around the globe in terms of a single incident, a single disaster that is more massive and more important to the future climate than this one. Well, I suppose you could argue that if the AMOC, the current that in the Atlantic, that is essentially the Gulf Stream, if that were to change suddenly, then we might have larger climate impacts. But in the near term, these fires are dominating what is happening to our climate. Okay. All right, everyone. Well, look, these are the disaster diaries, just talking about what's going on in the planet. These are sad times, and I am really sad. You read some of these articles about Siberia, and they're talking about all the animals that are dying. You know, farms are having all of their animals die, all the wild animals, all the bugs, all the insects that are in the soils, all the bacteria, all the vegetation, everything. The entire ecosystem of that part of Siberia is being laid waste. 4 million plus acres have burnt or are burning, and it's going nowhere. It's the kind of thing that you can't imagine happening anywhere else on the planet and not being the only thing being talked about in the news. And yet we don't even hear about it. We don't hear about it on the evening news. We don't read about it in our Sunday papers. We have to go looking for this story to find it. It is the #1 story on the planet right now, as far as climate-induced disasters go. Hey, everyone. Just want to ask you once again, We're going through this all together, and there are 3 things you can do. You can be kind, you can be generous, and you can be of service, all right? So try and find a way to be kind to someone today. Give to whoever you can in whatever way you can. And if you can find any extra time at all to help someone or some organization do something that you consider good, then lend a helping hand. All right, everyone. It's Elliot Jacobson. See you later.